Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. It's really great to be back here, and this is Daily Immigration Dose. I'm Napasa, your host, and before we start off with today's discussion, I have this very important disclaimer. By watching our videos, you understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not professional advice. Use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. So, Daily Immigration Dose, friends, it's always, most of the time, with me, Nipasa, and my co host, Sam. So, without further ado, please help me welcome her. Hi, Sam.
Hi Napasa, how are you doing?
I'm doing good today. Thank you so much. And I hope you two are doing as great as you look today.
Absolutely. And I think today, we are talking about a very timely topic, and that's too very eye-opening because now Trump is saying that there shouldn't be income tax. So I think our audience are really curious, they are concerned, and they are very much concerned about the topic, what's going to happen. And it's not just about our audience, I think everyone around the world, because now it's more about the relations, now it's more about the how they are going to have a relation with the other countries. So there's a lot to discuss, there's a lot to share also. And I think with that, without any further ado, let's start with our very first news update. And friends, here is my very first news update that I would like viewers to know about. That is, Trump wants to end income tax and tax foreign countries instead. So, US President Donald Trump has proposed ending income taxes for American citizens instead of taxing people's earning. He wants to tax foreign countries through tariffs on imported goods. Trump argues that this would increase money for US citizens and also help boost their income. He points out that between 1870 and 1913, the US was wealthier when it used tariffs to generate revenue instead of relying on income taxes. And this idea is aimed at reducing the financial burden on US citizens and focusing on foreign imports for revenue. So, how is it going to be? How the plan should be? What Trump is actually thinking about? We are going to delve into this topic in a very detailed manner. So, stay tuned, friends, because today our main topic is about this only, and we are going to explore more different sides and going to understand what the benefits, what can be the challenges if Trump is going to impose this law. Moving ahead with my next news, that's PM Modi to visit White House in February, strengthening US India relations, says Trump. So this is again a very good news that we are going to see in February 4th. And US President Donald Trump has announced that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi may visit White House in February 4th. During a phone call, both leaders discussed topics like trade, defense, and immigration. Trump emphasized the importance of strengthening ties between the US and India, including expanding defense cooperation and fair trade as well. This visit is seen as an opportunity for both leaders to have a better relation, and not only in terms of trade but also in terms of immigration. Moving ahead with my next topic, that's Vivek Ramaswamy explains leaving Doge role, says it was a smart move for his gubernatorial run. So, friends, as we all know, that Vivek Ramaswamy is not a part of Doge anymore, and he left it. But now he is saying that it was a very smart move for his gubernatorial run. So let's see what it is. Vivek Ramaswamy responded to claim he was pushed out of his role at the Department of Government Efficiency, that was DOGE. He said leaving was a mutual decision because he wanted to focus on running for governor of Ohio. Ramaswamy explained that his skills in law and government would be more useful in elected office. Despite host questioning him, Ramaswamy denied being pushed out and praised Musk's leadership. He also expressed his support for Donald Trump and his desire to make real changes as a governor. So this time we can see that Vivek Ramaswamy is not a part of Doge anymore, and he is also praising Trump. He's also praising Elon Musk for his leadership, and people are waiting a lot to see how Elon Musk is going to lead this government. And moving ahead with my next news, friends, here's a very important news, and that's about Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu also to visit White House on February, invited by Trump. So there are two main people where we can see that Trump is trying to have a better relation, that is from India and that is from Israel. But how does it turn out to be? Let's see. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that US President Donald Trump has invited him to visit the White House on February. This will be Netanyahu's first visit to Washington in Trump's second term and marks him as the first foreign leader to visit. The visit comes as the US pressures both Israel and Hamas to maintain a ceasefire in the ongoing war. So I think, friends, we all are very much aware about what the Israel and Hamas is going through right now. There's a very, important controversial topic that's going between these two nations, and it's a very problematic thing. And that's what I think Donald Trump is about to have a conversation with Israeli minister and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu so that they can settle this matter and could lead this decision to a more peaceful decision. And during this meeting, also, friends, as the US is trying to pressure both Israel and Hamas to maintain a ceasefire in the ongoing war, during this meeting, Netanyahu is expected to seek support for military aid and pressure on Iran while emphasizing his long standing relationship with Trump. So I think we can see a better approach in 2025 as US is trying their best to have a better relations with India and with Israel as the prime minister of both the countries are invited in February and to visit the White House. So this is a great news as we can see a better trade relations, a better immigration system as well between these two countries. And there's also very important news about Vivek Ramaswamy that I explained just now. And there are further news also, friends, that are also very important to address. So stay connected, stay tuned, and make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel as it's not only about daily immigration dose, but we also put our content on daily immigration news where we put all the latest news that is going around related to global politics and immigration news. So, friends, there are certain news that my friend Nepasa is going to share with us. So, Nepasa, please go ahead and share with our viewers the other news that are very important to understand. All right. So I think Nepasa has lost her connection now. Nepasa, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm
Uh,
actually here, but if you can just continue for a bit, I'm trying to figure out what my technical problem is.
All right, no worries. I think Nepasa should. I mean, okay, that's fine. That's a technical glitch. And I think without any further ado, let me go ahead and, as I have already gone through some of the news updates. So let's directly jump into our today's topic, friends. And let me tell you, friends, that one of the best thing of today's episode is that you can also join us. So dial this number that is 425 4366335 with the access code 988888. So go ahead, dial this number, and also let us know what do you think about today's topic. Do you think that Trump is doing a great job or not? If not, then why? You can also go ahead and share anything that you want to address here. You know, it's not only about today's topic, about anything about immigration. So I think let me go ahead and talk about today's topic. So today, friends, our topic is no more income tax. How would Trump's proposal impact the American citizen? So it's a very timely, it's a very hot and very controversial topic. So let me tell you, friends, what Trump is planning right now. Trump is planning to stop the income tax and use tariffs instead. And before understanding the whole concept, before understanding the whole plan, let me tell you what actually tax and tariffs mean. So, income tax is actually a tax that US citizens pay on the money they earn. So, whatever they are going to earn or whatever they are going to buy in the US, they have to pay to the government. And if we take on the tariff, then tariff is actually not on the money that people make or people earn, but the money what the other countries, the goods that come from other countries, US government has to put tariff on that. For example, if you buy a car from Japan, then US government might charge a tariff on that car. So tariff is mostly on the goods and not on all the products or not on the earnings that what the US people have. So it's a very different thing that now the income tax wouldn't be there. That means that people don't have to pay to the government, all the earnings or all the products that they are going to buy. It's all about the products that has been coming from the other country. So that's what the tariffs and the tax means. And what Trump is planning right now is very simple, that stop income tax and use tariffs instead. So, for example, friends, if a toy is imported to the US, a tariff would make it even more expensive. And the idea is that by using tariffs, the US government could make money and not have to tax its own people. So, this is what Trump is planning right now. Trump is not in favor of having more income tax. Trump is more into having tariffs right now because he thinks that this is a good idea. Because in the past, tariffs were also the main way for the US to make money. And he said that during 90s or during 80s when this law was there about tariffs, the US was one of the wealthiest country at that time. And that's what he is trying to get back US into the trap. And he believes that this would make the US wealthier, as I said, and stronger in the world. So Trump's idea of abolishing income tax and using only tariffs means government wouldn't take money from people's earning anymore, as I mentioned. That now when Trump is saying that to abolish income tax and imposing tariffs, that doesn't mean that the government, that means that government is not going to take money from people's earning anymore. Instead, it would make money from the taxes people pay when they buy things made in other countries. And I think this is pretty much clear that what Trump is planning right now and what Trump is main goal, because he is trying, as he said, that he is going to buy Americans, high Americans, right? So I think it's one of the most understandable thing that Trump is very much into America right now and Americans right now, and he is trying to put everything that is going to benefit Americans. So that's what he is trying this time, and it's kind of experimental kind of thing. We are not sure that whether it's going to benefit or it's not, but let's see what happens. Okay, and also, friends, there's also another thing that Trump wants to create a new government agency called the External Revenue Service. So, this is actually an agency that has been put only for this work. And this agency would collect the money from tariffs instead of US citizens paying taxes. The US would get money from other countries who sell products to the US. So, this is actually a department that has been put only to have tariffs from the other country. The name of this agency is External Revenue Service. Okay, so all right, these were some of the things. And friends, I can see that there is a comment from Karthik Aryan, and I would love to have more comments. So please go ahead, friends, and join us because we are really eager to understand what you actually think about this topic. Are you in favor? Are you not? Also, what do you think that is it really going to benefit US, or what are the challenges that you think? So please go ahead and let's make this episode a very conversational one, a very interactive one, because it would be great to have you also on this on this session. So please go ahead and dial this number and put a lot of comments because I'm really waiting for your comments. Okay, and meanwhile, I would also like to say that my friend Napasa is also here. So, Napasa, please go ahead and let us know how you are doing because I know you disconnected for a while. So, please go ahead and let us know what happened.
So there was a technical problem somehow. I think my laptop is crashing. It's overloaded with a lot of stuff, or I don't know what is their main issue, but was not detecting my camera. But I'm so glad to be back. So, yes, Sam, thank you so much for those great news updates and also a great introduction to today's topic of discussion. And also that we have Karthik and Bhagyakul who have joined us. So really thank you so much, folks, that you have joined us here on Immigration and Jobs Talk Show and Daily Immigration Dose today. So we are here discussing about no more income tax. How would Trump's proposal impact American citizens? And I wish, none of us have to pay income tax ever, well, whichever country you belong to. Tell us what are your thoughts on this. And yes, absolutely, Sam. I think I would like to read Karthik's comment before I head on to what I had to have to say.
All
Trump
right.
suggested that U.S. should rely entirely on tariffs for government revenue, reported Fox Business. And then we also have this was the model the country followed between 1870 and 1913 before income tax was introduced. Yes, that is, those are great points, Karthik, and very important. Yes. Very rightly said, this proposal, it was, I think, pre 1913. This is an economic model, as you've mentioned, from 1870. And it has definitely, brought about a lot of debate once again among economists, even policymakers and business leaders. And Trump is also very business minded, as we see, and also many of them in Trump's team as well are very very huge. I mean, they're business leaders themselves. And today, of course, we are stay with us, I would say, because we are going to discuss more further into this topic that we are discussing today. And what would this really mean for an average American taxpayer and the broader US economy? So I mean, very much, earlier we relied on tariffs to fund the government operations. And, when you talk about 1870 to 1913, the economy experienced industrial growth, and but the system was not without challenges. And I think for Trump, he really wants US to get richer and wants to experience industrial growth once again. So of course, the reliance on tariffs, it means that the government revenue fluctuated with trade volumes, and the burden of taxation fell, like it was not very proportionate at that time. Or whether you talk about consumers and industries who are very much dependent on, imports. So Trump's proposal this time as well seeks to return to this model from 1870 to 1913. And he says he's arguing why we should go back is because it was a time of economic prosperity in the United States. And he is for sure thinking that that model is going to bring back this economic prosperity once again here in the US.
Right. And I think Karthik has also put up that point only what Nepasa you are saying. And
Yeah.
Nepasa, I think that, okay, Karthik has said that, it's going to suggest that US should rely entirely on tariffs. So, Karthik, I would like to know it from you because, if any country is going to rely completely on tariff, so I think that's a pretty risky thing because tariffs are mostly on the goods, when you buy from the other countries. It's only on that. So I think it's going to be a bit risky because things will get more expensive and other countries may not like this fact, and it's going to be very risky because what if the other countries lose the connection, or maybe they didn't want to have that trade relations anymore with US. So there can be so many things, right? There can be so many challenges if only the country relies on tariff, because it's not going to be very much beneficial for US. Even if it does, then I don't know whether how the relation with the other countries US will have in the future, because other countries may not like it. Other countries may not be very much friendly regarding this tariff system. If US is going to import on them, because automatically if there will be so much expense on the tariffs, then it's very obvious that US people, the Americans, they are not going to buy the other products, the other goods from the other countries. So it's automatically going to, decrease the trade relations between the two countries. And I think this could be a little risky because now it's a world of globalization. People are having so much relations with the other countries, especially in terms of trade. And trade is a very major thing, to connect people, to connect citizens, to connect nations. And if someone is going to put a question mark on that trade system only, then it's going to harm a bit also the relationships as well. That's what I think. What do you think, Napas? I mean, do you think it's going to affect the relationship between the nations, or is it not going to affect? I mean, what's your call on that?
he's talking about paying the government of America the tax which every consumer pays, whether they're buying goods or, I mean, services for that matter, right? There is a certain amount of tax that each one of us, each one of the U.S. citizens are paying, right? And when you So, as in, like, when Trump claims, that eliminating this income tax would really make Americans wealthier and even more productive, he's saying by removing this direct taxation, on citizens, people will have more disposable income.
Hmm.
So, this could really lead to increased consumer spending and even investment.
Yeah.
And his plan really centers around the belief that tariffs, whether you talk about I mean, taxes on foreign goods, it would shift the tax burden onto the nations, I mean, the other nations, of course, by boosting, also at the same time, it's going to boost, the manufacturing and economic self-sufficiency.
Hmm.
So I think when Trump is saying no more income tax, he's more talking about not paying the government anymore.
He is talking about not paying the government anymore only from the US citizens. He's not going to take money from the US citizens. But instead, if he's not going to take money from the US citizens, then somehow he has to take money. I mean, the government needs money to build up the schools, colleges, churches, or the public property, right? So how they are going to get those money? They are going to get those money from tariffs, and that's what Trump's
Yeah.
administration is the main agenda: to not to take money from the U.S. people, but instead collecting money or instead taking money from the U.S. people. It's better to take money from the countries, the countries, those who are giving them the goods or
Consumers.
the products
Mhm.
that they are going to get from the other countries as in
Yeah.
tariffs. So I think this is, I don't know whether it's a good idea or it's a bad idea because it's a very experimental kind of thing. We can just see what can happen, but it's too risky. It's we can't.
Yeah, that is there. And also at the same time, Trump has been saying that we're going to be more independent. We're going to try to manufacture everything by ourselves. We're trying to not import oil anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, he's really trying to be totally independent from other countries as well, from what I can see. He doesn't want to deal with too many countries anymore. Or even if he does, he doesn't, I mean, he wants it his way or no way at all.
I think that's not possible, because that's okay if someone wants to be independent. I mean, that's his choice, and that's completely okay. It's a very good thing. But if we talk about trade system, specifically about trading, then it's not possible any country who is very much independent. It's I would say it's in a loop. Each country depends and relies on different products with different countries. And that's what, because in UAE, if we talk about Arab, then it's majorly about oil. If we talk about India, it's majorly about agriculture. So it's not
Mhm.
possible, to completely block yourself regarding trade system and to say that I'm not going to buy anything from that country because I want to be independent. I think it's very obvious that you can't restrict yourself, because in India also, we get so much, we rely on China regarding the electronic gadgets. We rely on oil regarding the I mean, we rely on Arabs, regarding the oil. So I think it's very obvious, and I think it's a very good thing to have a trade system, and it automatically increases the expenses, automatically increases the relations, and it develops the country. Not only the country who is exporting, but also the country who's importing, right? So it's a
Mhm.
very mutual decision. It's a very mutual relationship. And now I think Trump is trying to make America, little risky, if there won't be any tax or if won't be any income tax anymore. So that's what I think. And what's your call on that? Do you think, Napasa, it's going to benefit USA?
I mean, the main question here is how is it going to work? And like you said a little earlier, it's a little experimental as well. How do you think the system would work in practice and whether it would generate sufficient funds or revenue rather to sustain the government operations, like you said? So
Mhm.
that's one main concern. And apart from that, tariffs can really lead to higher prices when you talk about importing goods from other countries, right?
Mhm.
And this would in turn, increase the cost of living for the people of the country. So how is it going to work? Because everything has a consequence, right? So I'm sure, like, some support. Of course, there are some supporters who also believe that taxing foreign countries could boost the U.S. economy. But so many economists out there, they are warning, of the various different kinds of risks that would come along with this.
Mhm.
So yes, I mean, higher tariffs on imports could really lead to increased costs for businesses and even consumers, potentially driving inflation once again. So if America and American companies, rely on imported goods, those costs would likely be passed down to consumers. Uh, and this would reduce purchasing power and even potentially slowing the economic growth. So I think
Mhm.
it's going to be, I mean, there are so many things that Trump has just passed in the past 9 days now, and it's been crazy. Everything he does, everything he says is news, and everything almost is debated by one party or another. And I'm sure this one too. So it'll really be nice if some of you folks can join us on call, to let us know what do you think and how would this really work. If you think it's going to work, how will it work? And if you think it wouldn't, then could you tell us the reasons? How is it going to impact all of us in America?
Absolutely. And I think that's a very good point, Napasa, that you mentioned about tariff, that it can lead to higher prices for imported goods and that might increase the cost of living for the people of the country. So that's a very important point, friends, that we have just gone through it. And also, if we look on the other side, then if there will be more tariff, then I think things from other countries get more expensive and people buy more things, made in the US. So this is also benefit because if there will be tariff, then automatically people can buy only the products that are made in the America, and that can increase employment, that can increase jobs as well. And automatically, if there is employment, I mean, increase in employment, then automatically the US economy is also going to increase. So I think it's some are the good things, some are the bad things, and we can't suggest right now like whether it's a good idea or whether it's a bad idea. But for a short term, we can say that it can be a good one. But for a long term, we are not very much sure because it's not only relying on one nation. There are so many nations over there in the globe. So each nation, we have some on the other relations, whether it's trade, whether it's global, or whether it's something. But how is it going to affect? Because it's not going to affect USA, but it's also going to affect different countries, especially Mexico, India, China, Russia, Israel as well. So it's a lot. It's a lot to say. And also, friends, here's another thing that I would also like to point out that about the reactions, that what people are saying, what the economists are saying, and what the critics are saying. So let's go to it. Not everyone is liking this idea. In fact, some experts, economists, especially, they are worried. They say that raising tariffs could make things even more expensive for US businesses. How? Because if businesses have to pay more for materials from other countries, they might raise the price of their products. And that's very true because it's not possible for everyone, to rely completely on tariff. And it's obvious that business people or the dealers, they only buy those products from the other countries. And they might raise the price of their products. So this could make things even more expensive for people in the US too. And other economists also worry that tariffs aren't a good long term plan. And if something goes wrong with trade, the US could lose money from tariffs. And that's a very good point, friends, because it completely depends upon the other countries as well. What if the other country didn't like this agenda? What if the other country didn't like this plan? Then they could take a step back and say that they are not going to have any trade relation with USA anymore. So that could be a big challenge for the US as well. And this is what we talked about the critics, what we talked about the what economist has said about this plan. And now let's shed light on the support for Trump's plan. So some people, friends, support Trump's plan. They believe that by making other countries pay more to sell goods in the US, American workers will feel less taxed and will work harder. So I don't know whether it's going to be actually beneficial or whether it's going to really benefit America. But I think this is something that shouldn't be, because American workers will feel less taxed for sure if they are not going to pay tax, but will work harder. I don't know if you're going to pay
Yeah,
less.
me too. I doubt that.
I mean, I don't
I
know
mean,
why.
imagine like, you're already earning like a certain amount, okay? And you're paying taxes. As you're paying taxes, I mean, you're still going on. And then once you don't have to pay taxes, means like you're saving more of the money that you have been earning, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, that wouldn't give me like a chance. I mean, wouldn't want me to work harder, but maybe it's like extra money for me for leisure. So, I mean, I'm
That's
thinking like that way. So I'm not sure how is it going to work when he's saying like people are going to work harder.
That's true. And in fact, if we talk about income tax, then it's not about that you are giving something. It's about that you are giving something for your own self. What are government going to do with those taxes, that you have been paying? They are going to make roads, they are going to construct hospitals, buildings, or the public property. That is for you only. That is for your benefit only.
Yeah, but maybe Trump is thinking that US is already developed, roads are already there, schools are already there, hospitals are already there. But then, it comes to, what about maintaining them? Maintenance is another thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, when you talk about building more of that, maybe not, but maintaining what already is there is also expensive.
That's what. And even, it's not about that they are going to create new. They have to maintain that. And even, it's not about the buildings or the infrastructure. There are different problems in the US, mostly about deportation. And we all are aware that, deportation actually costing a lot, because it's
Yes.
not just that they have been sending there. There's a process, there's an immigration rule, so there's a lot of things that's really expensive in terms of deporting the illegal immigrants. So for
Mhm.
that, the government needs to have money, and from that, if they're not getting money from the income tax source, then getting money from tariffs and relying completely on tariffs is not a very good idea, and that can be very risky. That is something that a nation uh, is keeping everything, relying everything on tariff, is really risky from my side. That's what I think, and that's what
Yes.
economists are also thinking, and they mentioned that. Yeah, Napasa, please go ahead.
Yes, yes, for sure. Actually, yes, we've already said that a little earlier in the show. And
Mhm.
when we talk about supporters, supporters were also saying that they argue that this shift, could incentivize businesses to invest more in the domestic economy. I mean, reducing reliance on foreign production. So, yes, investments, yes, if you have extra money that you're saving, maybe you would invest more.
Mhm.
And talking about that, maybe yes, but not about working harder for sure. And then proponents, who claim that tariffs could serve as a leverage in trade negotiations,
Mhm.
well, strengthening the US's position on the global stage. I don't know. I mean, I'm not understanding what is Trump really trying to do, like talk about salaries of government officials as well. Everything is going to be affected. Everyone is going to be affected. How are they going to be paying these government officials?
That's right. Because they are getting paid, how the process is through income tax only, right? It's not
Mhm.
only about US. I think every country, they have the same process. There's income tax, and this is a very systematic way, that income tax should be there. And if Trump is trying to
Yes, exactly. And tariffs won't really alone, if you talk about like generating enough revenue to sustain government programs, I don't think tariffs are going to be sufficient, entirely alone, to be able to provide all of that to sustain the government programs, whether you talk about defense, also infrastructure, social services, uh, everything needs to be funded.
Right. And you know what? It's going to burden a lot. Because, for example, if a businessman is buying a car from Japan, so he might buy that car from Japan of $20,000. But you know, if Trump is going to put tariff on that car, then the cost will be around $25,000. All right.
Hi, Sam and Napasa.
Okay.
Hi,
Rajni,
Rajni.
how are you?
Hi, really
Been a
good. And
long
I was,
while.
yeah, I was listening to the both of you. You guys are having a very interesting conversation. But I would like to add something here, actually. So, we are talking here today about the taxation policy and Trump eliminating tax. But then how I look at it is, see, when a country actually imposes higher tariffs, so the price of, like Sam said, the price of imported goods, of course it rises. Like you said, if we try to buy a car from Japan, then if the car is of $100 and the tariffs are imposed, then it will cost them $120, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then as the imported goods, as it becomes expensive, then the country, the people from the country and the consumers, they will choose to buy domestic products instead, and they
Yeah,
will support their local businesses, which will help in growing the economy of their country.
I think
Then,
that is what Trump is also planning at, because
yeah,
he
they
had
will.
mentioned also, yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to look for the brands, the imported brands from the outside countries. They will not look for any goods or any products which are being imported from another country or which are coming from the outside country, right? But what they are going to do is they are going to support their own local businesses, their own companies which are manufacturing, building everything in America. And if you look at India, that's how, this is something that the Indian government also did. They supported their own. That's how I think the startup boomed in India, because they started supporting their own country people.
Mhm.
They started giving them loans, and I think so many things. They helped them. The government actually helped them building their startups. That's how so many startups actually emerged. And right now we have about in India. Some 100 billion, like billion, profit making companies. So with this move, so I think, so if the tariffs are imposed, maybe this could be one way where the nationals will support their own country products and their own country companies. So maybe this can be in benefit of this can benefit actually the US. This is what how I look at it. What do you think about
Mhm.
it?
Yes, yes, for sure. And as Trump had mentioned, I think even on his inaugural that they're going to be producing more automobiles, and they're going to have more production from America itself. So yes, maybe that this was his big plan. Um, Making the tariffs so high that people would invest on domestic products, and that way money from America stays in America, and
Right.
in turn helps the others in America, the American citizens.
But Rajni, I also would like to add on something that
Mhm.
you are saying that tariffs are going to benefit. Okay, but what about the income tax? Because you know, income tax is something that makes the citizens more disciplined. That makes the citizen keep on questioning that how they are earning, and if they are earning in a legal way, they are earning in a proper systematic way. So don't you think it's going to create a chaos in the civilians around them, because they'll be free, they won't be having any a question mark on their mind about their paying method, because those tariffs will be relying only on businessmen or very few people, right? Not the whole civilians.
No, Sam, honestly, how I look at it is, see, because we have followed one particular path the whole of our life, doesn't necessarily mean that if we choose some other path, it will be completely wrong. It might benefit the country in some or the other way. Just because we have never thought about it and we have never lived that way, that's how I mean, because of that only we are questioning it, right? Because we have never imagined it, that if no taxation is there, or if the tax are gone, then the civilians or the people might be more relaxed and more lethargic, and they will be, so we are thinking it in that way. But maybe they have a proper plan,
Maybe.
which,
Yeah.
right, and which we are not, maybe which we are not able to look at right now, but then maybe it does benefit in some or the other way. I think I'll have to read more about it to give you a better answer how it will benefit or how it can benefit. But then for now, I will only say that just because, we have never lived that way doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be completely wrong. What if it benefits the country?
It may, for experimental reason, that's what me and Nepasa were also saying, that it's a
Mhm.
very risky thing, it's a very experimental thing. So it can benefit, it cannot benefit. So, I mean, keeping the system for like 2 to 3 years, I think automatically we'll get to know what the actual conclusion is all about. So let's see what happens and hope for the best, because if this system works, then I think every country is going to put this system, because they're going to get influence from Trump's side here. That's what I think.
I don't think so. I mean, Trump can be kind for his people, but I don't think so. Other countries are going to do that because that's how the governments are also earning the money, right?
Right.
Yes.
That's
By asking
I
people
mean,
to
if
pay
you talk about
taxes.
India, you don't know where is the tax money going to the pockets of
Exactly.
so many, because we don't really see development happening as much as they're getting paid. I mean,
Right.
each person is paying so much, but roads still have a lot of potholes, and I mean, I'm talking about national highways also for that matter, in so many corners of the country.
Politicians
So
are making good, beautiful homes for themselves and living
yes,
a luxurious life,
acres
and
and
it's only happening
yes,
because of the people's money, right? So,
exactly. So I'm sure at least other countries may not just do this because politicians will have to make their money. They have to keep filling their pockets, keep
right.
getting richer,
Right.
the rich getting richer, you know what I mean? But
but
this is
the
Trump,
thought of
and
it,
he wants.
just the thought of it that there's going to be no tax. Just imagine, it sounds so good, and honestly, I feel
It
Trump is
sounds so
being too
good.
kind.
Exactly, I
Yeah,
was saying. I mean,
Trump is being
I
really
can think
kind if he's
luxury that
thinking about
way.
it. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You are not, whatever that you earn, it's going to be with you and your family. Just the thought of it,
Yes.
it feels so good.
Feels so
But
good. But what if, this would lead to, I mean, cutting the salaries, you know what I mean? Wages
yeah,
could be, what if, because if it has a bad impact, then maybe you may not get paid how much you're getting paid. Because why you don't have to pay taxes so much anymore? I don't know if that could
yeah. I
happen.
mean, that could also happen. That could happen. But we really will have to see, how it is planned out and how they are going to actually do it. And I think ZQ has commented here, Sam or Nipasa, if you can read that.
Sure. Okay, there are so many comments, and I think we should take all comments, but let's take ZQ's comment first. So, hi ZQ, and thank you so much for your comment. And you are saying that a young waitress came up, and I said, how are you doing? And she said, not great, because they are after me so viciously for tips. He recalled, so you should have no tax on tips. Okay. So you should have no tax on tips, she told him in Trump's telling. That was about the amount of my consultation. Trump is trying to look out for the common people. Okay, I think that's what ZQ is trying to say. But I actually am not very much confident in this comment. So I would like to pass it on to Napasa. Napasa, what would you like to comment, or what would you like to know about it?
I mean, I'm taking just his last comment that he's saying Trump is trying to look out for the common people. So, yes, definitely he is. And keeping everybody's, I mean, people are paying huge taxes no matter what good, whatever they consume, right? For each thing they are getting, they are paying taxes. And so, I mean, imagine not having to pay all those taxes, keeping all the money for yourself. And yes, common man can also save up from that. And ZQ is also saying this is from an actual article in CNN. Yes, thank you so much for sharing this, ZQ. But it would be nice, really, and it's so nice to have a leader like Trump, right? Thinking about he is really looking out for the common people, and I wish many other countries could do that. And I mean, development also. You look at it, then it's really nice to see. And with all these changes coming up, good things are coming up. I'm not sure if this is really going to happen, but just by
Let's
the thought of it, it's very, very fascinating, I would say.
for the Americans, for the people. For them, it's definitely going to be a golden era because they are not going to pay income tax anymore. So that's really a point of relief. And I think with that, thank you so much, ZQ, for your comment. And let's take Ansa's one. So Ansa is saying that I feel it would be equal to the same. I feel like our money would be used to pay more for goods, more tariffs on goods, the higher prices of goods. What do you think? I think, yeah,
So I think since the tariffs are only going to be higher for imported goods, so again back to what Rajni had mentioned, so that way consumers are going to focus more on domestic goods. So maybe they will try to check out more what America is producing locally or in the country, and pay less than pay more for imported goods.
absolutely. And if we talk about the domestic products, then I think it will be the same. And the goods that we are going to import from the other countries, they are going to be very expensive. And that's what, the US citizens won't be buying those products, the imported goods, because that will automatically be so expensive. So it will be difficult for them.
But you never know, since they don't have to pay taxes on many other things, they would be saving up more. So for the things they really need from other countries, I mean, they will need some imported goods maybe, and they may not mind paying. So, Ansa, I mean, it's a good thought, but what do you think after what we've said?
But then, Napasa, I think, lower taxes or maybe no taxes, it can also make US an attractive place for businesses, right? I mean, people will be more attractive for making businesses or creating businesses there. And it will potentially, it might lead to job creation and then, of course,
Yes,
economic expansion too. What do you think about that?
yes, why not? I
Yeah.
mean, maybe people who are producing in other countries may just want to go and have an office there in America itself.
Yeah. Hmm.
That
And
could also happen, or an
that's
industry out there if they can set it up.
That's a major benefit. That's a major benefit. That's why people are in support of the system because they are thinking that it will be very good for the business only. They are going to have their own domestic products. They're going to, sell their own products, and it's really going to increase the employment. It's going to increase the US economy. But this is the benefit, and the others are the challenges that we just spoke. So it's a balance kind of thing. It's a balance kind of thing. We are not very much sure how is it going to be, but we just have to keep our fingers crossed and see what happens. Hopefully everything goes well. That's
Maybe
what.
we should ask a professional to come to our show and explain how, this will work and how this might plan out. So maybe that person might help us and can explain us better
Yes, maybe from
about
the
this topic,
income
right?
tax department.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. See, I think income tax department will somewhere an economist, absolutely. But I
Yes.
think an income tax department will ultimately, they will be in favor of themselves. They will say no. I think they should
They
implement
need
tax.
taxes. Yeah.
Yeah, there should be tax. But just imagine, I mean, if the taxes are gone, and so will the tax department, right?
Right,
So
Yes.
right. What
And
about their
imagine those
jobs?
people working there. What's going to happen?
What about their jobs then? Because there are so many people in income tax. They really goes with a lot of difficult exam, to pass out that session, and then they get earnings, and then they are actually working in the income tax. So it will be difficult for them as well because I think Trump is not thinking about the income tax people. He's thinking more about the US citizens.
Maybe
yeah,
they would be put up in the, I don't know, there'll
in
be
some other
another
department maybe. But
another
then again,
department, deportation department.
right.
That
And
makes
who knows, they would be paid higher than what they're already earning.
Yeah. But then
Just
it can
kidding.
again lead to a lot of scams too, right? Because of the income tax department. we see a lot of scams being busted and a lot of corruption cases being
Yes.
busted,
Yes.
right? But then if there's going to be no taxation, nothing, no income tax
And trading
department,
also, right? I mean, a lot
right?
of trade are being handled. I mean, they also charge taxes if you're earning too much too soon.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really prove like how are you doing it, right?
Right, absolutely. Maybe they have things planned out. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
otherwise,
it's not like he just thought about it
yeah, he
like
just woke up
out
one
of the
day and
empty
said,
cup. I'm
"There's going to
sure
be
this
no
was a
tax."
great plan, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we will get to know more about this for sure as you know this news unfolds as we keep seeing more updates on this. So I would say, folks out there, just check us out. We are Immigration and Jobs Talk Show, and you can check out because we keep having updates, news updates, discussion programs. We have attorneys join us, not just attorneys. We have amazing guests from different departments join us. Who could tell us more about this also maybe. So yes, we would also love to know what do you think, and why don't you join us on call? Ansa also, if you can join us, it'll be great. Or ZQ. Our number is 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988-888. Should we take up more comments now?
Yeah, sure.
We have Bhagyakul saying this company. It started, okay, it just starts like this. This company did not agree to transfer I-140. Also, we didn't make any changes to my EAD that was issued while husband was at company A. Now my husband has an offer from a new company C. They are currently processing of filing H-1B and has agreed to support I-140 transfer in this year. Shall we request Company C to file my EAD to extend along with H1B premium, or they need to transfer I-140 first? Well, Bhaikakul, I think we should take up your question to one of our attorneys for sure. We are going to note down your question and try to get an answer for you. But thank you so much for participating in this, and uh, thank you for commenting.
Right. I think the best answer could be given by one of the immigration attorneys. So, Bhagikul, stay tuned, stay connected because tomorrow also we are going to have a very informative session with attorney Uma Mantravadi
Yeah,
at
you could actually join the session, right?
yeah at 2 p.m. EST. So make sure to join that session and put up this question, and I'm sure she is definitely going to provide you the best solution to your query. All right. And I think with that, let's move ahead with our next viewer, and she is Neha. So, Neha is saying while economists argue that higher tariffs could hurt US businesses by raising the cost of imported goods, this might lead to higher prices for consumers and might slow down the economy. According to some economists, tariffs are not a reliable long term solution for raising revenue. I think that's what we have been discussing, Neha. So thank you so much for putting that up. And of course, I mean, I have a different view. Napasa has a different view. Rajni has a different view. So we all three are clashing with this topic. We three are not very much confident what's going to happen. But I think it's not a very good idea as a long term, but Rajni thinks it's a good idea as a long term. So let's see what happens, and we can hope for the best as US people are definitely going to get benefit. Maybe it will lead to some challenges, but it's not going to be very difficult for them in terms of tariffs and trade. So,
And it's a model that was tested, it's not like something very, very new, also, as we have discussed. This is from the 1870s, right? And this has been tested. And during that time, there was a real boom in American economy. So, of course, times have changed since then, but I'm sure like Trump has a greater plan, and maybe he will tell us how. I mean, if we are not supposed to work the way we have been working all this while, then what should we do? I'm sure he's also going to give us more ideas. So let's look out for that.
absolutely. And I think there is a better plan that we are not aware of. And soon, after some time, we will definitely get a better understanding of what can be the benefits or what can be the challenges behind this abolishing the income tax and putting tariffs on the imported goods. So I think right now we most of the people are having less information regarding this topic. So that's why we are assuming, we are putting our own perceptions. But as soon as it will come ahead, because already it's a very planned system, U.S. is not going to implement any law or any rule without even a lot of discussion. So let's see what happens, and I hope it's going to be a very planned way. It's going to be a very systematic way. So yeah, I think that's all would like to cover on this session. And Napasa, is there anything else that you would like to add on, or should we wrap up?
I think, yes, it's a little too early to say too much, but I'm really looking forward because this is a very, very fascinating thing for me, at least, you know. I mean, imagine not having to pay any more taxes. No more income tax is going to be a great news for so many, but also what next, right? We really want to know. So I think we should just keep it at that, a little open ended and open for all folks out there to also let us know your point of views on this. What do you think about no more taxes, no more income tax? Let us know in the comments. And it'll be really nice to know. I mean, whether you support it, don't support it, or you think it's going to work, or not think it's or think that it's not going to work. It's I mean, yes, that's all I can say. And to conclude, maybe I can just say that Trump's proposal, you know, to eliminate this federal income taxes and replace them with tariffs is really a radical departure from the modern US tax system. So, of course, it aims to ease the financial burden on American taxpayers, but it also has so many questions, right? Debates that have arisen, whether you talk about
Yeah.
the economy or the logistical and geopolitical concerns, also. So, I think so far the debate is really far from over. It just has started. So, let's look out for more, okay?
Right. And for that, friends, it's very important to stay updated, stay connected. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. We'll be coming every day with daily immigration news and daily immigration dose at 4 p.m. EST. So make sure to stay tuned, and we'll be bringing up more important and more latest updates regarding global politics and immigration news. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining here. And meanwhile, me and Napasa are signing off for now. So goodbye and take care.
Bye, everyone.